95% of our companies say, yes, we believe that growth is needed and growth can be realized. But therefore you need to be competitive, and competitive means you need to create conditions and you need to make sure that you don't overprotect local industry versus foreign investments. And the fact that the European market is lower, is at a lower pace growing, in some countries negative, in other countries more positive, but as a whole much slower than it used to be, puts more pressure on companies to deliver in those regions where growth is still positive and growth is still going. So what we sense is that there is increasing pressure on senior management running companies in European companies, including in China, is increasing.
And how do you see European company reacting in that context?
I just came from Guangdong, and what we do see is that companies move because of the wages, because of the salaries. Not only European companies, but also Chinese companies, Hong Kongese companies, Taiwanese companies. If they are labor intensive and export oriented, you see them looking at alternatives. Those alternatives include moving more to the West, where there is still, preferential policies for investments, but also moving to other Southeast Asian countries.
On the other hand, we often hear about Chinese investment in Europe. What is your point of view on that?
If the gap of what European companies can do in China versus what Chinese companies can do in Europe gets too big, I believe there will be resistance building up in Europe against Chinese investment. And that would not be in the interest of Europe, because we need the funds. It would not be in the interest of China, because they are eager to invest. But it will be a political reality.
Finally, how do you see Chinese economy evolution in the future?
Including in the 5-year plan, it's very clear that structure of the growth of the economy, of the GDP, needs to be rebalanced. That's the famous rebalancing. So domestic consumption is supposed to take over to a big extent from unsustainable high levels of investment. We believe that today the economy is in a turning point. This balancing act probably started, but will take time. And during that time, investments are still needed to keep the growth going to the famous 7 or 8% that are apparently needed in China.